Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Welcome friends. So after reading, we are going to move on to another important module, that is vocabulary. So welcome back to this session, and for the next couple of hours we are going to discuss business English vocabulary. We will be learning about various aspects of business English and its vocabulary, including useful phrases, idioms and terms used in all areas of businesses, including for spoken and written communication, and also for informal or semi-formal kinds of situations and conversations. The objectives of this module, that is based on vocabulary, would be to get an overview of the words and phrases used और commonly used in the business world. So व्यापार की भाषा जैसे हम लोग कर रहे हैं अभी तक, और उसमें किस तरह के शब्द यूज़ करना है, तो vocabulary, yeah. So idioms and phrases as well as commonly used expressions. We will also discuss how to converse easily about topics that are relevant in a global workplace. This, you remember, is one of the prime objectives of this course, that we have to know that kind of vocabulary, that we should be able to use those kinds of expressions and words that are relevant in a global work space or workplace. So not just in our local surroundings or situations, but also in global workplace. So please remember that in this era of globalization, we have to expand our horizons, so therefore we need this kind of vocabulary. We are also going to look at various synonyms, antonyms and abbreviations. Overall, understand different types of vocabulary in business situations. Some important, or rather let me put it in another way, some very commonly used kinds of expressions or situations are those which are given here: vocabulary used for advertisements, abbreviations, popular acronyms. We will also look at the spoken kind of vocabulary, vocabulary that you can use for your everyday presentation, interviews, semi-formal and formal conversation and discussion. So that's also we are going to look at. Interviews, of course, in writing, seeking information, writing memos, writing various kinds of letters. So those are the kinds of situations that require specific kind of vocabulary. व्यापार की भाषा हर तरह की आम भाषा नहीं होती, उसके कुछ तौर तरीके होते हैं, और ये हम इस मॉड्यूल में करने वाले हैं. So in today's class I would be talking about some of the useful and commonly used words. I'll give you a list, but that's not exhaustive or definitive. As always, I have to put a clincher here, or disclaimer rather here, abbreviations and then contrast markers. So this is going to be the focus today. Look at the slide here. Abbreviations and popular acronyms. Please look at the slide here. Several abbreviations and acronyms are used in the world of business: account, limited liability company, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, annual percentage rate, month to be determined, certified public account, purchase order not applicable, in other words, return on investment, estimated time of arrival. These are very commonly used acronyms. But please stay forewarned, this is not the only, or these are not the only acronyms that you are going to use. There are so many. Please read and read more. That's the only way you are going to. So, one advice that I keep giving my students is that in order to write and speak in a better way, you have to read more. Also, expose yourself to programs that are in English language. Now, look at this exercise. Look at the slide, match the following abbreviations and acronyms to their meanings or to their extended forms. IPO, INC, CPA, Memo, GDP, ROI, Certified Public Account, Memorandum, Return on Investment, Initial Public Offer, Gross Domestic Product and Incorporated. Please take a moment. Here are your answers. 1D, Initial Public Offer, IPO. 2F, INC is incorporated. 3, Certified Public Account, A. So, 4B, Memorandum. 5E, Gross Domestic Product, and 6C, Return on Investment. Business English depends a lot on your knowledge of acronyms and abbreviations. Let's move on and look at this slide. This is a list of frequently used words in business communication. Please look at it. Look at the words. This is not exhaustive. These are not the only words that you would ever need, but these words are very common. Organize, गाइडेंस, किसी चीज़ का निर्देशन देना, एक्सपैंड, किसी चीज़ को फैलाना, क्लॉज, कंपिटिटर, ड्रेस कोड, किस तरह का पहनावा होना चाहिए, किस तरह के हम कपड़े पहन, कॉरपोरेट वर्ल्ड में, कॉरपोरेट की दुनिया में हम किस तरह के कपड़े पहने, तो उसे कहते हैं ड्रेस कोड. Dress code could be semi-formal or formal. Leadership, this is an important term. Teamwork, trademark, consensus. Consensus का मतलब होता है कि सभी लोग किसी चीज़ पे agree करते हैं, so या एक चीज़ को मानते हैं, तो consensus, mutual consensus, agreement, या agenda, strategy. Estimate, अनुमान लगाना है, yeah, so estimate is to guess. Investment is to put your capital into something else, पूंजी लगाना. Responsibility, किसका क्या दायित्व है, क्या कर्तव्य है इस कंपनी में, so the kind of work you are supposed to do or expected to do. And guarantee, of course. So these are some of the very frequently used words in business and communication, but this is not the only list. There would be much more. If you want to learn more about or expand your vocabulary, you have to read more, particularly the business section of newspapers or some good business magazines also. Now, talking about contrast markers, what are contrast markers? Some of the words such as however, although, though, while. So this is something that is contrast markers. Although, though, yet, nevertheless, however. However का मतलब हिंदी में होता है लेकिन, nevertheless फिर भी, although, while, whereas can be taken loosely. It could mean in Hindi kintu, parantu. So in business English we have to be very careful about the contrast markers. They are the signposts these words act as signposts to where the conversation or the discussion or the communication is leading towards. So you have to pay attention to the ideas used in the sentences. However, expresses a general contrast. The ideas are good, but the execution, however, the profits were low. The ideas are good, but the execution is poor. So, but is also an example of contrast marker. Although it indicates an element of surprise, profits fell, although the turnover increased. So, you have to understand contrast markers. Whereas, for example, indicates an equality among the ideas that are presented. The condition of company X is bad, whereas that of company Y is good. Although and even though are used interchangeably, though the letter shows emphasis. Profits fell even though turnover rates increased. So, you have to understand. For example, although means in spite of the fact that, however means but. It can also be used in the beginning of a sentence. While and whereas are used to connect two complete phrases, and although and though mean in spite of something. Now, this is your exercise. Please look at the slide here. She manages everything. She is only a junior employee. Although, however, while. How to make a single sentence using any one of these words. So, choose the best option. Second, salaries for the next 4 years have been decided on. They will be changed if business improves. A, however, B, whereas, C, even though. Number 3, the company has 14 managers altogether. Full stop. It has only 8 junior staff members. A, whereas, B, although, C, however. Number 4, working conditions in the company are average. There are no separate washrooms for women. A, whereas, B, however, C, though. 5, site B would be the better choice. Site A would be a rather difficult terrain. A, however, B, though, C, while. C, the main agency concentrated in Mumbai. Its competitors turn their attention towards other places. A, whereas, B, however, C, even though. And here are your answers. Please look at it. Look at the slide. A is you although. Although she manages everything, she is only a junior employee. The sentence indicates a surprise at the lady's ability, and so you can even say she manages everything although she is only a junior employee. That would be a better sentence structure. The second one, A, salaries for the next 4 years have been decided on. However, they will be changed if business improves. There is no indication of surprise. Therefore, whereas is not applicable. Number 3, A, the company has 14 managers altogether, whereas it has only 8 junior staff members. It's a clear contrast. Keyword is only. Number 4, working conditions in the company are average. However, there are no separate washrooms for women. The contrast here is between two ideas that are not equal. You cannot say whereas or while or though. However is the best option. Number 5, C. Site B should be the better choice while site A should be a rather difficult terrain. The phrases are equivalent, hence while is the appropriate option. So, please look at contrast markers more carefully. There are lots of examples of contrast markers on the net and also in good English grammar books. Please keep revising. Number 6 here is A. Please look at the slide. The main agency concentrated in Mumbai, whereas its competitors turned their attention towards other places. The phrases are equivalent and hence while is used here. Alright, now look at the passage here. This is another exercise. Identify the contrast in this paragraph. The procedure followed by American companies when responding to requests from foreign governments, including India, has evolved over time and largely carried out voluntarily. by the companies subject to restrictions under the Stored Communications Act, the governing law on the issue. Though expansive interpretations read permissively, companies have provided non-content data or non-content data voluntarily to foreign law enforcement agencies that protect the law of rule of law and human rights. Data that reveals the actual content of communications can only be revealed through a mutual legal assistance treaty process, and the source is given to you. So, where is the contrast here? What should be the contrast here? And the options are however, even though, though. Look at the slide again. However, data, even though, which would you prefer? And the best response is A, however. However, data, and so on. Look at the sentence again and you will find that however fits the bill in the best possible way. When we talk about vocabulary, we should also consider conditions. If you work hard, you will succeed. Conditions usually begin with the word if. Okay, and it is used to express, if is used to express hypothetical as well as real situations. So, in a conditional sentence, you have two parts, condition and the result. If you work hard, what is the result? You will succeed. Now, look at the slide here. Link the following sentences using conditions. Employees live very far from office premises, they eligible travel compensation. And which do you think is the best possible response? A. If employees live very far from office premises, they would be eligible for travel compensation. B. If employees live very far from office premises, they are eligible for travel compensation. C. If employees live very far from office premises, they will be eligible for travel compensation. And here is your answer solution. Please look at it. 1A. If employees live very far from office premises, they are eligible for travel compensation. The sentence expresses a possibility. Both phrases have to be in simple present. So, please consider, please always note this. The tense should be agreeing. There should be an agreement of tenses. Number 2, second sentence, he being director, the company's condition deteriorated by now. A. If he is director, the company's condition deteriorates by now. B. If he would be director, the company's condition will deteriorate by now. C. If he had been director, the company's condition would have deteriorated by now. And this is the solution. The second sentence, C. If he had been director, the company's condition would have deteriorated by now. It's a hypothetical situation. It means that thank God he is not the director. Otherwise, the company would have really gone down the drain. Number 3, we receive sufficient funds next month, project complete next December. A. If we receive sufficient funds by next month, the project will be complete by next December. B. If we will receive sufficient funds by next month, the project would be complete by next December. C. If we receive sufficient funds by next month, the project is to be complete by next December. And the best answer is third, A. If we receive sufficient funds by next month, the project will be complete by next December. Simple present and will plus infinitive. B is an infinitive here, result clause. Next sentence. There be fewer employees in this company, more work each person do. So, A. If there was fewer employees in this company, there will be more work for each person to do. B, if there were fewer employees in this company, there would be more work for each person to do. C, if there had been fewer employees in this company, there had been more work for each person to do. And the solution is 4B, if there were fewer employees in this company, there would be more work for each person to do. And now let's look at this exercise. This is the last exercise for you. Read the passage that follows and fill in the blanks using the words given below. Dominant, flat, singular, user data, browsing, fanfare, unbundling. Please remember, to develop your vocabulary, you have to read a lot, and even if you don't know the answer or the meaning of some of these words, please revisit these words, because as you know, business English is not just general English, it is a very niche and specific kind of an arena, and you can expect more complex kind of language here. You are expected, if you want to join global international MNC workplace, then you have to raise the bar as far as your vocabulary is concerned. So you cannot say, I don't know the meanings of these words. Therefore, this course was very difficult for me. Please make an effort. If you don't know the meanings of certain words, please revisit them, try to find the meanings of these words, and try to remember them. So let's look at the passage here. Fill in the blanks. We love when Netflix make a massive deal of new shows like Stranger Things, Narcos, or Rick and Morty, and then quietly, without any dash, add a modern classic or two into the movies section as a nice little surprise for whenever you're stuck for something to watch dash through the menu. Yesterday we came across Inherent Vice, Paul Thomas Anderson's tale of a private investigator in 1970s Los Angeles. Joaquin Phoenix plays Larry Doc Sportello, confused yet dash in his determination to locate his former lover and her current beau, real estate magnate by the name of Mickey Wolfman, whose mysterious disappearance drives the film through a number of increasingly absurd situations and characters. And it's continued here. Netflix is currently the dash company in the relatively young and hugely expensive on-demand media industry. By providing on-demand content, creating original shows, using dash to better serve customers, and letting customers consume content in the way that they prefer, Netflix is forcing cable companies to change the way they do business. In the long run, Netflix's success may be viewed as the first step in the dash of cable. Netflix is essentially a storehouse of content, including movies, documentaries, TV shows, and educational programs. Customers pay a dash monthly fee and can consume any content at any time from whichever platform they prefer. In a sense, it is the first major disruption of television, which has become the dominant medium since its inception and proliferation in the middle of the 20th century. Now you have 2 slides and you have this list of words: dominant, flat, singular, user data, browsing, fanfare, unbundling. Look at this, take a moment and look at this slide. And then look at this slide. And here is your solution. We love when Netflix makes a massive deal of new shows like Stranger Things, Narcos, or Rick and Morty, and then quietly, without any fanfare. Fanfare is without much publicity or drama, add a modern classic or two into the movies section as a nice little surprise for whenever you're stuck for something to watch. Browsing, that's the next word, through the menu, because this is a collocation. Collocation means words which always go, or that always go together. So through the menu, it has to be browsing. We browse through the menu. Yesterday we came across Inherent Vice, Paul Thomas Anderson's tale of a Perma Stone private investigator in 1970s LA. Joaquin Phoenix plays Larry Doc Sportello, confused yet singular in his determination. Singular means very unique, very peculiar, determined. Not determined, singular is peculiar and unique. So, singularity. Singular is an adjective, that's a quality. To locate this, and then let's move on to the next one. Netflix is currently the dominant company in the relatively young and hugely expansive on-demand media industry by providing on-demand content, creating compelling original shows using user data to better serve their customers and letting customers consume content in the way that they prefer. Netflix is forcing cable companies to change the way they do business. In the long run, Netflix's success may be viewed as the first step in the unbundling of cable. Netflix is essentially a storehouse of content, including movies, documentaries, TV shows, and educational programs. Customers pay a flat monthly fee. See, flat means straight upfront and can consume any content at any time from whichever platform they prefer. And here is the source given to you. So please keep reading, and we'll continue with more vocabulary in our next class. Goodbye.